Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrott.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution.
Each week we interview top artists
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. Good afternoon, Roger and everybody tuning in.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I see you have an original Banksy on your wall. Nice.
Well, don't know about that.
How sick would that be, though? How sick would that be?
That would be a flex. You can't tell, though. That's why NFTs are so important, because you could just check the metadata in my wallet.
Couldn't agree more. Dude, get to show with the homie today. We're going raw and real, which is kind of fun, right? It's like, as the people file in here, get involved. Like, these are some of my favorite. I love our guests, obviously. They're the OGs, Defaced, Odious, etc. Like, all part of the fam. Every artist, any artist that we ever bring on here. Victor Mascara's been on a ton of times. Yeah. They're amazing. But sometimes it is nice to just be sitting here with you, my friend, and talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, it's nice. We can just shoot the shit and always have good conversations and then respond to comments and stuff. So, yeah, if there's any questions or topics you want us to discuss, drop them in. But yeah, how was your week in the metaverse, my friend?
Most insane week I've had ever in the metaverse. It's because of the weekend, right? It was because like Artifacts project blew up over the weekend in a good way.
It did.
And it was trending that way prior, and so it wasn't like a shock, but it still happened really, really fast. It was like sellout after sellout after sellout, and reserves were being hit, and madness was ensuing, you know?
Well, congratulations, dude. Gradually, then suddenly, or whatever the Bitcoin people say.
Slowly and then all at once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I guess last week we left off with Defaced, and that was his Artifacts drop that night, which was super, super awesome. The art was cool. We were all looking forward to it. And I was driving when that was happening because I just didn't plan it out that well. And I got a notification, and everyone notification in Discord. And, don't look at Discord and drive, guys. But I looked.
Good life advice.
I looked and I was like, holy shit, Deface sold out. And it like so quick. And I was like, oh no. And then someone posted like, this one just got listed on the secondary. And then so I don't buy art and drive, guys, but I bought some art while on the highway.
You're the man. Because you would tweet a message in like rapid succession of like, oh no, I didn't get it, or I missed a drive. And then you're like, bought it while driving.
I knew I had to come down to that. Yep.
It was an exciting moment, man. What's up, late Safa in here? What's going on? The Deface was a huge catalyst. It was like one of multiple catalysts that just kept amping things up, because Bill Ellis sold out that day. Yep. And it went into Defaced, and then Defaced, sells out in basically seconds, as fast as people could hit it, and briefly broke the site. Because we use we have our own contracts, which we put a lot of love into, but we also use the OpenSea API. So it's like that API was like, no, too fast. Yeah. And then his auction got hit. And then once his auction got hit, then the whole rest of the night was just like other artists that had some editions left were just being like ransacked one after the other. So anyway, it was a very, very special time. It's like we have so many new collectors and a really, really good vibe going on. And it's kind of fun that it happened the way that it did. And it was really an organic build, man. And as I told you before we hit go today, you were there from day -1. Like, I remember the early conversations with you. So I appreciate the love from even before it all started.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I always got belief and trust in you, and I knew this was going to happen at some point, and it's just cool to talk about it as it's happening now.
Yeah, so true. Jasty, Jaden going tonight, and then there's a very special week coming up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The hint might be on or around Parrott's shirt.
Nice.
Special times coming up, man.
Special times indeed.
But I always feel a little weird about. I never want to be the guy who's like rattling on about the project. The project. So let's spread that shine out. Let's go someplace else.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's see. My week in the metaverse. The past 2 weeks have just been pretty crazy. Luckily, I've like corrected my sleep schedule to fit that. I've just been starting to wake up early because I realized the East Coast is up. You get up at like fucking 4 a.m. my time.
It's a problem.
So I get up now at like 8 a.m. my time, and I think that gives me a little bit more leeway. I used to wake up at like noon and just be like, oh, I missed the whole day.
8's pretty good. 8's pretty good. If you're in the saddle at like 8, 9 o'clock, like that's rock solid. That's right. I don't recommend to anybody. I don't recommend that anybody get up, and when I do, and wake up with the sun at best, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that to anyone either. That's a little extreme, but hey, it works for you.
You got to go with what works.
Yeah, but yeah, everything's been crazy, man. Projects that I bought a while ago that I thought were just flops have been getting like bot bids and stuff, which is pretty wild. Seen a lot of super rare attention lately, which makes me super, super happy. Hi, Odious. What's up?
I like the Odious, the narrative opens door. I literally thought in my mind about the origin story's door opening.
Yep. So super rare has been popping off, which I love to see. We see the rare token. I haven't looked at it in a few hours, but holding, I think, around $2 average with spikes up to 3, which is bullish, I would say. I don't think people even know like how cool that token's going to be. I'm holding mine for a long time.
Same.
And it's just been a cool week, man. I've seen a lot of new people enter the space. A lot of friends hit me up asking about NFTs again. Is that a top signal? Probably, but we'll see. There's always more tops.
Yeah.
People are screaming top signal in like February. When certain celebrities started having drops, and there was 2 more months of tops after that.
One of the most frustrating things, especially about the NFT space, and like advice that I can give, but I don't always take. So it's like, I'll say it, but I fall victim to the emotion sometimes as well. Is like, you can say and you can know and you can feel in your bones that a top should be here, right? Or is coming, or at least a pullback would be healthy, right? It can't, as we say, it can't go up only. It's not up only. Sometimes it feels that way, but it's not. And so the problem, though, emotionally, is that when you feel that in your bones, even if you act on behalf, you say, it's got to be a top now or soon. So I'm going to do some things and I'm going to prepare myself for that, which is smart, which the advice I'm going to give is that smart. But the problem is it can like 3x from when you feel that way. And it doesn't mean you did something bad, as long as you don't act rashly and go like from 0 to 100 or 100 to 0, right?
Exactly, man. Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's smart to take profits on the way up. It was something I learned from just like studying trading cryptocurrency. Like, you don't buy into Ethereum at $90 and then sell it all at 2,000. You take a little bit of profit on the whole way up to however high it goes, or you just don't sell it all and you just hold it, which is fine too. But that's the problem, is like the markets can be very irrational to common sense and feelings. And sometimes one tweet can pull back a floor on a project. I remember Punks hit 50 ETH floor or something like that, and Keyboard Monkey was like, "This is the top on Punks," and then he's like, "I expect to pull back to 30 ETH floor," and it pulled back to like 42, and then launched to like 120 after that. So like, no one knows what's going to happen. Like you said, it could 3x every day for the next month, or the next year, or it could crash and burn all tomorrow.
It's true, and it's the very difficult part of this thing. And like a couple core pieces of advice is like, know what you want. Right? Know what you want to happen. Know what you're risking for what you want to happen. The easiest strategy ever is to buy something you like and hold it. And like I gave that example, like I used Deface as that example. Like I bought like the original Starman. I loved it. I didn't even know why. I just loved it. I loved Deface. I loved everything it was about.
Yep.
And not like, you know, you just hold it. You don't even think. Like you don't even think. It goes away. You're not even interested. You get a bid, you don't even, you ignore it. Like it's just not even a thing. There's a wall up. That's the easiest thing. But the hardest thing is to not get too lost as something is riding up. And if you see a tweet or you feel FOMO and you start piling into that thing, know why you're piling into that thing. Because the worst move, in my opinion, is to not realize that what you want is quick money, but that you're risking 20 ETH to make 2.
Yeah.
And it's easy to lose sight of that. And if you break it down and pause for a second and step back and realize, oh, wait a second, like I'm just hoping to flip this like a day later or an hour later or whatever and make a few ETH. That's a tremendous risk because then you can get caught on a ride down with your hands tied, and that's not good for anything.
Yeah, man, you see it happen all the time. I've been watching it with punks where people, they buy the local top or whatever, and then they try to sell and they lose 10 ETH in a few hours.
Yep.
And it's easy to get caught up in that. And, quick money is great. It's a wonderful feeling being able to, make a year's worth of rent in a day or two, flipping a JPEG. And it's enticing and addicting almost to have access and that potential. But I think it's very important to practice mindfulness and understanding the wants of like the ego and the self and your emotional reactions to the stimuli overload that's happening on all social media platforms at once. And it's very, I get caught up in it myself sometimes. But
that's the thing. It's the advice we can give, but we don't always take. And that's important to say it. It's very, very few people are immune. Very few people are immune. So follow it as much and as often as we can.
Yep. Yeah. It just, you need to sometimes take a step back, reflect, and then continue onward.
While we're on the subject of advice or thoughts or where this thing goes or something to have in mind, I've been really thinking I'm almost certainly going to write about this in the next RD report, but I've been thinking a lot about like flight to quality. And so what does flight to quality mean? It means when there is a pullback and when there are things that come crashing down hard. And I think, we've seen it before, right? Those who have been in this since even just the early 2021 range have seen it happen once. So you kind of know how it goes. When those things come crashing down, there's a flight to quality. And so there are people that exit altogether. And then there are people who pool into what that perception of stability is.
Yep.
And stability is hard to come by in the NFT space because it's still so young and it's still evolving, right? And so the question that I would prompt everybody, our Origin Stories fam, to consider is what does quality mean to you? Whether it's something that you believe in long term, whether it's something that that you feel like others will believe in, wherever you want to plant your flag and own it. Consider that question. I want to pose that question. What does quality mean to you? Because that most assuredly will be. No, you could get that wrong. You get the answer wrong. You could think that this is, and it's not. And I understand that. But there's going to be at some point, a flight to quality. And so what will be those things that last? And so maybe, I don't know, Parrott, want to go back and forth and talk about some things we believe in?
Sure. Yeah. And once again, to like relate this to crypto, I feel like this is kind of like alt season right now or something similar. And pretty much people know that some of these projects they're aiming into aren't going to be around in 6 months.
Yep.
They also know that they have the possibility to 100x. So I think kind of the game plan is to 100x as many times as possible, or 10x or 5x or whatever. And then just like in the crypto token community, they then go and they put all of that into Bitcoin or all of that into Ethereum. They stack their sats and shit, And I think similar things happen in the NFT space where, I've done it myself. When I bought my punk, I flipped smaller projects to get enough ETH to buy a punk. And I think, punks, I think we can probably say Bored Ape Yacht Club is as stable as they come right now for newer projects. And then I'd like to think 101 art too is kind of an untapped stability, at least with artists that you and I both know will be around a long time and continuing to innovate, which is the catch right there. Yeah. So you have to treat each artist like its own brand.
Right. And that's where it comes in. That's what you're seeing right now, the establishment of some of these informal like funds or whatever, where it's like they're attempting to do the thought for you, where they're like pooling a bunch of one artworks together and then allowing people to enter into that bundle. So it's like you're diverse, you're diversified in some way, shape, or form to the art itself. But what I was going to suggest is, and I want to make very clear, what I'm about to suggest is not to the exclusion of anyone. That's key for me, because there are a lot of artists that I believe in. So why don't we give some just shout outs? Like, who's top of mind this week? Who comes to mind? It's free shout out. But again, if you don't hear yourself, it's like not because it's just we can only shout out so many people.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Go.
All right. Obviously Ferocious.
Good one. Shout out because he just released recently, but Raf Grassetti.
Definitely, 100%. I'm going to say fuck Render.
Yeah. Speaking of my heart there. Bill Ellis.
Yep. Hackatow.
Nice. With that, because it's it's been on my mind, but I'll go Sky Golpe. The summer of Sky Golpe. By the way, that man does not stop. The Sky Golpe sales have not stopped. There was another one today for 20 ETH on Super Rare. That dude is on fire, and it couldn't happen to a better artist in person.
Yep. Corey Van Loo.
Ooh, good one. Love that. So Mike Tyson is. I like Corey even before this. You know this, right? Right. Now with the Mike Tyson thing is special. It's just special for anyone who for anyone who's into sports in general. Like, I just remember growing up, Mike Tyson was the guy. One of my great clients from back in the fitness and wellness days. And friends, and just friends to this day. His uncle was like his cut man, and we always were trading stories about Mike Tyson and. Just amazing. And to see Corey and Mike like pair up like that was incredible. And I got a chance to shout out Corey on CNBC, which was so fun. I was given the biggest internal fist pump and energy and good vibes out in that moment where I was like, yeah, let's go. Anyway, that was just doubling down on Corey. But I'll go with Lorona.
Nice. That's a good one. X copy, so priced out of most collectors, including myself.
I'll go. I'll go with someone I don't like ramble on about people that I always ramble on about. Daniel Arsham.
Okay. Yep.
The rare case of someone who's not really a community member. Like dabbles every now and again, but not really. But is like a really accomplished contemporary artist. And
it's a good one.
That's really interesting, because I think that when NFTs make the full leap, and by the way, the full leap to me means when like all traditional art has accepted, and it's NFTs are just they just are what they are to everybody. I think that's someone who's like relevant now, relevant then, relevant in between, like just relevant, period, end of story. So almost exists outside of the community, but that's okay in his case.
Right. It's a good one. I'm going to say Sarah Zucker.
Good one.
I think she's a, awesome OG member of the community. Overall, hugely undervalued right now.
Still, which has been really rising, and still, yeah.
I know. Still, she's been getting a lot of cool stuff happening lately, but still, in my opinion, undervalued.
Coldy.
Yes, one of the greats. Let me think. Odious.
Always odious.
Always odious.
I'm gonna go with someone who's kind of quiet. He's kind of quiet, and Justin Graphics up in here. Yo, what's going on? Another early origin story supporter. I always try to tell Justin Graphics I felt the love from the very beginning, and we'll never forget it.
Sir. He's been around for a minute too in the community.
For sure.
Love that.
someone who isn't the loudest person in the room is very active and is also popular, but I think has another level of appreciation that people will get around to is Ixulo.
Yes, that's a really good one. Yeah, dude, his art. He posted something new today, I think.
Yes.
Yesterday. I think it
that's
was
probably
today.
why it jogged me. Yeah.
Yeah, but every time I see a piece of his, I just like I'll forget how good he is sometimes, because you're right, he's not like the loudest person in the room. He's very active, but he's not, you know, showing up every single day on my feed, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes he'll post some art, dude, and I'm just like, God damn, it's so good.
Late Safa checks in with Carlos. I assume that means Carlos Marcial. Amazing personality. Love Carlos.
That's a good one too.
Yep. And J Ram, not the loudest, def not me, LOL. J Ram checking in with some exceptional art lately. Love what he's doing. He's expanding his brand. Yeah, very fun to see.
Very fun indeed. Slime Sunday.
Good one. Fresh off of, I thought, a really incredible example of what that dude is capable of, which is a heck of a lot. Put together just that incredible Phillips auction. Standing in that room was cool because you looked across the room and you saw, was it five really diverse pieces. One being a literal hard drive with 5 1-of-1 stashed on it, by the way. But all of these other pieces, from a pure physical to a digital that unveiled with every time that slime, gets censored in the future, like just some wildly creative stuff. Yeah. Along with what he had announced earlier that he hoped one day he could do, which was essentially to make like cake face, a face out of cake and take a slice out of it. He did it. He executed it. It was there. So much love to slime.
Yeah, that was a very, very cool exhibit gallery auction. That was really cool to see that in person. Very, very creative and well executed indeed.
The return of Philip Hotus, I think, cannot be slept on anymore. And so it was 3 dominoes that fell in succession. So it was Philip collaborated with Thank You X, which we talked about on Nifty, and that did quite well. And then from there, he had his Ferdinand auction that, because of the Coldy method, which is the 24-hour clock reset, was an absolute marathon. It received like 7 bids, I think it was, over the span of time. Did really well. And then immediately after that on Super Rare, had a 15 ETH reserve hit and it being outbid. And I believe that closed at 16.5 ETH. So incredible few weeks for Philip.
Beautiful and well-deserved. Park, he's back in action right now. I mean, since day one, an absolute legend with his, I don't know if you'd call it social engineering or grand marketing or what. I'm like at this point convinced that Park's just like a team of people somewhere.
I hope that's the case. I really do. Because what I will say is nobody makes me feel dumber than Pac. And the reason is because like I've been a huge Pac believer, huge. I went chasing after a #1 edition from his OG drop and like got involved all along the way. And yet I found ways to let go of a few things along. Like I was pocked up. My bags were pocked. And and I found ways to part with one, actually by mistake. Probably my most infamous mistake of having something listed, the market surging and just forgetting it existed. So something being sniped, and then a couple that I let go of my own volition, and like just take it in the face, just taking it in the face for not, 1, holding, and 2, going all in on some of the newer stuff that he's done. So all the credit.
Yeah, I had a 5 cube and listed. For some reason, I've only sold, I think, maybe 3 pieces of, excluding like collectibles and profile pictures, but like actually art that I buy from artists, whether it's on like Nifty Gateway or Super Rare or OpenSea or whatever. Only sold, I think, 3 pieces of art. Mm-hmm. And one of those was the Pock Trevor Jones collab. Mm-hmm. I forget which one I had.
Fusion or extrusion?
Extrusion, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then another one was the 5 cubes. And I had it listed like really high, and it was kind of like the start of this bear market and of this spring. And at some point it just sold, and I was like, oh shit, like I forgot I even had that listed. I made a mistake of looking at the price the other day. But and then I also obviously should have bought an Ash. Did not.
Just so many mistakes.
So many mistakes. But yeah, he's and then he's doing that Lost Poet Society thing, which no idea what that is, because like you said, there's no one that makes me feel dumber than Papa does. So who knows what he's up to. Yeah. But I know it's going to be exciting and cool and groundbreaking and completely on brand for his antics and art.
100%. At this point, I don't begrudge anyone for just blindly aping into what Pac does. I mean, it's just like it's getting proven over and over again. So, yeah. Again, hats off. Hats off.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I got to go a lot of money.
Definitely. He had I don't know if it's a big secondary sale. Maybe it was on Nifty or Super Rare. I saw something the other day or maybe someone bought one. I forget, but saw a little excitement over there, which is cool. Very cool. And a great guy too. Let's see. I think Kid 8's doing some cool things.
Killing it.
Yeah. His G-Vol dropped yesterday. Mm-hmm. Sold out instantly. Was the talk of the town all day, as far as I could tell. It's done when I went to bed last night, like 5,000 ETH in volume, which is really, really cool. Oh, look who's in the chat.
Oh, there he is. A lot of money. What's going on?
What's going on?
Are you back?
Am I good?
Back.
Yep.
You're back.
But yeah, the Kid 8 thing was really, really cool. Always been a fan of the dude's art and kind of branding, and just like his brash presence on social media makes me chuckle. And so that was very, very cool to see his drop do so well yesterday. And I just bought one on the secondary because it's just cool art. I want to support.
Shout out to someone who carved his own niche, like just straight up, like just kept with it, rock solid. Going. Just a trailblazer in his own right. So big ups, big congratulations to everything that he's done along the way. I'm gonna go a curveball. I don't know if I believe in her yet. I don't know enough about her, but since a lot of money's in here, I want to give a huge shout out to a lot of money's daughter, who is now in NFTs and has minted her first 5. I believe it's 5. A lot of, maybe you can confirm. But I believe it's up to 5. I may have just ruined myself because I think I have a bid in on the last available one. So I hope it goes to the moon after we talk about it.
Very cool.
Let me get the name too, just so.
Oh, too late. We already got.
There you go. All right, perfect.
Oops. How do I? EvaMo_NFT.
Yep. I just thought that's so exciting. It's like a lot of, you got to be the best dad. It has to be. I refuse to think anything but that. But yeah, there it is.
Very cool.
And there's the link directly to the OpenSea profile. But a couple were bought up and love to see it. And so yeah, pixel art for the win.
I'm gonna say Micah Johnson.
Good one.
Doing some real cool stuff.
Mike is the best. Talk about world building and we saw we could weave in a headline here. We saw the big headline come down this past week of Larva Labs going to Hollywood.
Oh, right? Yep.
This is a big deal. Like, this is a big deal because we're starting to see now digitally native things go to IRL, right? Or like obviously that's a rough analogy. Like, it's not all digital is IRL too, but you get what I mean. That's big. And Micah, why I'm tying that in is that right? He's
Right.
also taking a digitally native character and concept and NFT chapter progression and going to Hollywood. This it's like the flippening, it's like now all of a sudden core concepts and native content are coming here and going there. And I think it gives you a little bit of a peek into what the future may look like, where that starts to balance out, and then the future ultimately becomes even more digital.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and it's not really. I didn't really think of the similarities until you brought that up right now. But yeah, and it's interesting to see. Like in my head, I have a hard time imagining exactly what Larva Labs and CryptoPunks and Meebits and all that. What else was on that list? Autoglyphs.
Autoglyphs, yeah. Basically everything Larva Labs.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see like what that will look like. Is there going to be a TV show or a movie, which I have like a hard time imagining, I guess, or are they just going to like license it to? I don't know what that's going to look like, but I mean it does make sense with a company that has characters and so much money and IP that they're now are working with the agency for traditional media. So in my head that makes sense, but I have yet to, I guess, grasp what that will look like. Micah, I can totally see a Netflix TV, HBO TV, Hollywood studio movie based off of his stuff, no problem. That makes total sense to me, that roadmap, and I think that will be really cool. I'm just curious to like what Larva Labs is gonna be like. I can't click links from here. Odious just sent twitter.com/blockword status. Maybe that's relevant.
You just hacked your computer, Parrott.
Let's see. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on what that will look like right there?
I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think it could go all over the map. I mean, I think it could be a multimedia franchise. I mean, I think that the punks will need some extrapolation to get there. I think the Meebits have already been designed to exist in VR and AR and all that stuff. Like I know they're forward thinking with that project, which is one of the reasons that I love that project. But the punks will get there. I mean, listen, everyone's got to real. I was going to say wake up and realize, but everyone's woke. Like there's no one is left to wake up to CryptoPunks. But this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise now. And it's not even the entirety of Larva Labs, which is insane to think about. So the fact that the IP would go to Hollywood and cut some sort of a deal to be in multiple places at once is it's unsurprising now, but it was like mildly surprising when it happened. I expect more of this stuff to go that way.
Yeah, I agree. Which is cool. It's cool to have stuff, like you said, digitally native, born here, that then seeps into the traditional world. When for the most part, it's kind of been the opposite of that, of these closed off studios creating content, and then that inspires like artists and digital stuff. So to have that reversal, or like the flippening, like you call it, it's very cool. I'm gonna share my screen. This is what Odious sent me. Kind of off topic, but all related. These people say Twitter will allow users to add Bitcoin and Ethereum addresses on their profile. Source, the same person that leaked recent Bitcoin payments on Twitter image. So could be really cool. I mean, I already do, because I have my ENS domain name as my handle now. Parrott.eth.
Ooh, smart man.
It's cheap to do that too. I got it for like 40 years or something, and it was only like $200.
I don't know how long I got mine for. I got one, rdnft.eth, but not my name. Someone took that.
Yeah, it's just like the .coms back in the day.
Exactly. And then like way back in the day, they did like a tweet. They're like, "Yo, you want to buy this?" I'm like, "No, I'm not buying my name." RDNFT all the way.
Yeah, RDNFT is good though.
Thank you, man.
He says it's cheap because you found them early. Yeah, relatively speaking, we're early, as they say.
Word. Oh, I had something good too. It'll come back to me.
big auction today for Bored Apes.
Oh yes, I heard that was up to something preposterous already.
Was it a lot that they were doing? Like a
lot of 101 or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, it's gonna fetch a hefty price.
Hefty. See if I can pull this up and find it. I'll find it. We'll talk about something else. I'll track it down. Someone tweeted a good update over there. Odious probably knows because Odious knows all.
Yeah, it's always curious to see how the floors on these projects respond to these auctions. I remember Christie's CryptoPunks. The floor was going up. Day of, after sale, went right back down. That's kind of like the sell the news kind of cycle you see. Yep. So I'm curious to see, if this auction, it brings in an inflated price based on the assets, or it's more of a deal based on the assets, like what the average price per ape will be for the auction, if it's under or over the floor or right at the floor. It'll be interesting to see. And it's always interesting to see how the prestigious auction house and how that branding and association reflects on different buyers' interests and the price and stuff. I think, the best example would be Beeple with his $69 million bid, first NFT at an auction house, and how that pairing brought out such a high price because it was such a monumental event.
Yep.
And then kind of the opposite happened with CryptoPunks, though, where at least I think maybe they had like one really big high sale, but I don't know the details. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. In my head, kind of the opposite thing happened versus Beeple with the CryptoPunks, but I could be wrong.
That Beeple event was such an anomaly. When you think back to how it happened, like everything played in. It was the perfect time.
Yep. The hype. That was the hype of that first bull run.
And it was paired with the token, which mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you had someone who ended up winning it, which was obviously very interested for a reason. Had an intense bidding war with, what was it, Justin Sun, right? Was the other side of that coin.
Metakoven and Justin Sun.
And they just wrecked each other for quite a long time in that bidding war. But
yeah, it was a very anomalous occasion for sure. But I think it needed to happen, and it overall a very good thing for NFTs.
Oh yeah. Especially now where we are now. There was a moment where it seemed like it was a bad thing, but but we are where we should be. Well,
I think the only thing it was bad for was B20.
Well, where's B20 today? What's the story there? That story changes all the time.
It's kind of been the same story for my bag for the past 6 months.
$1.46.
It's not bad. It was like 80 cents for a while.
It was down there. Yep, it was down there for a minute.
I just bought a bunch at like $9.
Yeah. Remember that day, Parrott? Remember that day we were jamming on Origin Story's live stream for that auction, and we saw B20 was just mooning.
It got up to almost $40.
Yep.
I was like, yes, I knew this was a great idea. And then it just, and I was like, oh, it's just a little dip. At least it's hopefully hit the bottom and bounced a little bit now. But yeah. I'm just holding all of mine because, I don't need $500, and that's how much all that's worth now. And just like a little memento, in my wallet. I gotta look at it all the time. I'm pretty much just holding it out of spite at this point.
B20 memorabilia.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got some value. Today, Odious, by the way, says Bored Apes 4.5 million. I think I saw the expected valuation that the auction house is listed, which, as we know, is oftentimes low, but we'll see, is 18 million. And then 6 days, 17 hours left. Long time.
Yeah, it's got a long time. I'm pretty hyped, honestly, to see. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll just screen share this really quick because it is a moment for the community. And if there's one thing about Bored Apes, is they got a cracking community. They're all really, really nice. So Love to see it, even though I sold all mine. Love to see it. Yep. 42 bids. The reserve has been met. 4.5 mil for 101 Bored Apes. That is a steal right now. Let me do some quick math. Maybe we can come up with our own estimate here. You nailed the people estimate. Roger, for those of you that don't remember, Roger said 69 million, and that's what it was.
That was a fun day, man. It's a fun day.
That was fun. All right. Floor is like 40 ETH, I think. Let me look on here. 42 ETH is the floor currently right now. So 42 times, what is Ethereum at right now? Ethereum's been pumping. 3,800.
It's going.
3,801. So the floor is $159.6 thousand per ape, and there's 101 apes. That is 16 million. If the floor and you just basically didn't get a bulk deal or whatever for the buyer of this, someone could pay $16 million and it would be like buying them at the floor. Though I'm sure some of these aren't floor apes, so 16 mil might be a steal. Oh yeah, there's some like gold apes and all sorts of stuff in here. Some cheetah apes. So yeah, I'm sure if I like redid that math with the actual floors of some of these, would be a lot closer to 25 mil, maybe if you bought them all one by one. So
maybe
probably a good deal, honestly. If I had 16 mil to throw at apes, that's what I do.
Wait, today, Odious, thoughts on some of these front-running Christie's? How so? With the price?
I think Christie's is also doing Bored Apes and Meebits.
Got it.
In Hong Kong later this month, I think, or maybe it's in October. But yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting seeing both assets at those two major auction houses.
Brand battles.
They're competitive,
yeah.
bro.
I mean, that's a pretty legendary, auction house v auction house competition. In some ways, they thrive off of each other. In some ways, it's super cutthroat. So I think Odious, to that point, I think this is like, we're going to see this behind the scenes with like an artist pops up on one place, but they were actually like being battled over behind the scenes. And then I think in other ways, just what we're seeing here with those larger bodies of work, yeah, there's front running possibilities that it will be executed one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it behind the scenes of auction houses fighting over certain artists, and being like, we'll only take 20%, we'll take 15%, we'll take 10%, and right. Which is great for artists, by the way, and great for these projects, because usually it's the auction houses that have all the power. Mm-hmm. They're like, if you want to be here, we'll take 50%, and that's just the way it is. It's the way it always has been.
Yep.
And so it's a real testament to NFTs and what we're doing over here, that we're really taking the power back into our own hands and then leveraging it against them, saying, all right, you guys have a wider audience and we need more of your collectors to get into NFTs. Let's work together a little bit here, but you're not going to fuck us,
Well said. By the way, Odious, I completely agree with you. Says Metakovan should have just transferred you the first 5,000 days after you predicted the hammer price. Yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
I mean, my wallet's still open for business, so.
Yeah, Metakovan, it might revive B20 if he did that. Think about that.
I'll do everything in my power, which is not much.
It's not much.
Yeah. Funny, man. What else? Maybe like one more topic before we call it a wrap for today. We went through a whole bunch of shout outs, which is fun. It's always fun to do. Spread the love.
Definitely. Man, what else has been going on?
Oh, I got it.
You got it. Okay.
I got it. Can we talk about the madness that it? So, okay, huge ups, because there have definitely been dicey moments, but huge ups to Nifty Gateway again for that SummerSlam. I thought the conjunction with the marketplace redesign, we talked about this a little bit, but the conjunction with the marketplace redesign and the execution of SummerSlam, bueno. Like good on the optics, good on the execution, good on the end result, good on the artists, good on the collectors, etc. Have you seen? So there was 150 people that achieved any tier of the SummerSlam. So how it worked for people who don't know, if if you were in the bottom tier of the 150 top spenders in that 2-day period, you get like this. If you're in the next tier, you get that and something else. If you're in the next tier, you get that, and that. And your goodie bag just kept piling up as you achieve top spot. All 150 received something called the Key to Life Returns from Nifty Gateway. The Key to Life Returns. That key, which has no announced utility, I'm sure they're planning. Well, actually, no announced utility before today, is pumping. Yeah. The sales were ripping all day today. Yeah. That key. Now, I forget what the bottom threshold to SummerSlam was, but I know it wasn't egregious. I think it was, less than $10,000. I'm not 100% positive. Don't hold me to that. I was busy competing for too much lag, but but wherever it was somewhere in that ballpark, right? That key, the single key, the bottom tier, was trading today for $20,000.
Wow.
For one key.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the utility, they didn't announce anything. Maybe something was hinted at. But tonight, I think there's a recode drop on Nifty Gateway. And so the first hint of what this key is going to provide, it's like you can only access the drop if you've collected recode or if you hold a Nifty Gateway Key to Life Returns. So you could see this may be an unlock for even, whoever the artist. I don't know exactly what they have planned, but that's pretty interesting.
It's like a VIP pass almost.
Right.
Which is kind of what we saw with the 3/3 NFT drop that he had a few weeks ago with the VIP and gold memberships, where it unlocks some really cool stuff. And I love that, that utility has been talked about a bunch for like concerts, and especially like musicians giving away NFTs at concerts and having these utilities. And you saw it with VeeFriends, with Gary Vee, where if you get one, you get this utility to his seminars and these like special benefits. So it's cool seeing a platform adopt that as well and giving back that utility in the form of an NFT to the people that give that platform value, which is collectors and artists, I guess. So really cool to see. That actually gives me one more topic to talk about. Did you see the email today?
Wait, real quick before you go down that road, so we can fully focus. Right. I just real quick checked the last Key to Life Returns, the last sale at 3:48 p.m. So just before we went live, $24,000 for a key. $24,000.
I love that. You got to hand it to Nifty for really buckling down and bringing life back to their market after the bear market. And a lot of people, I think, blame Nifty for overselling and for over dropping and stuff. So it's really cool to see that they can turn it around and build that excitement back up again. Because I love the team there, and I love the platform. I've collected so much art on there and drop my own art on there. So it just makes me happy to see, we're still in the early stages and there's not that many platforms out there. And it's cool to see them keep going and doing cool stuff. So yes, I can talk about this now because it is public, but Nifty Gateway just today announced that they're opening up their platform in an almost OpenSea-esque way, where you're going to be able to trade projects on there that originated outside of Nifty Gateway. That they still verify, so there is still like a little bit of curation happening on that side of the platform. But here what it says is a verified NFT project is one that is not curated by Nifty Gateway team, but we have verified to be created by the person or team who claimed to create it, meets our legal standards, and meets our basic smart contract standards. So I think examples were the apes and punks and certain collectibles. You'll be able to bring them onto Nifty and use that as a secondary market too, which my first thought was like, well, you can already do that OpenSea. Why Nifty? Is because there's no gas on Nifty, which solves so many issues if you think about it.
It's a big deal.
Presents new issues, but of it being on their smart contract and kind of not really in your wallet, you own your keys to, and there's pros and cons. But I think it's overall a big pro and very innovative, and I'm really excited to see how that's going to look.
Yeah, it's big news. It's big news. It's where a lot of people want to be. Still, it's like you said, that gasless, right? That gasless consideration is a big deal. U.S. dollar, ease of buying and selling in USD is a big deal. Even though there are those who don't want that to be so, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So
Nifty Gateway was the platform. NBA Top Shot and Nifty Gateway, in my opinion, were the two platforms over the past year that onboarded so many people into this space, because it takes away MetaMask and Ethereum and stuff like that, which is like I said, there's pros and cons to that. But the big pro is how many people are onboarded. And I think at the end of the day, being this early in the space is one of the most important things a platform can do.
You're right. Spot on. Yeah, that's a good pull. That's a good news item pull. I did see that briefly today, but it is very relevant. And so, yeah, I'm glad we're talking about
it. And other than that, yeah, we covered a lot of subjects today, man.
Oh yeah.
I feel all caught up.
As caught up as we can be, right? As caught up as we can be.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess that's that. I guess it's a good wrap point. Well, we got a big one next week. It'll be a fun one.
Awesome.
Off to go manage a release.
Yes, sir. Go Jasty tonight.
Go Jasty. Yep, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. That's coming up.
That's crazy. Here we go again.
All right, everybody. Thanks for jumping in here with us today and joining the comments and all that fun stuff. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Stay safe out there in the metaverse, guys.
Much love.
Don't paper hand all your NFTs to corporations this week.
Good advice.
Imagine the person that sold that CryptoPunk to Visa. They're like, oh, fuck. At least I would be. Yeah, they're like, Visa bought my CryptoPunk. Oh, no.
At least you have that claim to fame, right?
I guess. I don't know who it is, though. But yes. All right. Peace out, everybody. Bye.